Okay. We're actually supposed to put this on our WhatsApp group, right? We have a WhatsApp group.
Oh yeah.
And we're now gonna put we're gonna put the link on the WhatsApp group for this thing, and somebody else might have to do this in the future. You could do it.
Well, I really should have done it before I started the stream.
Yeah. So we're gonna put the link on the WhatsApp group, and anybody that's not part of the WhatsApp group, they could click the link in the description that's going to be put there by our producer, Yaakov David, right? And when you put this link in, if you click the link, you'll join our WhatsApp group in this way, because I know some people have been complaining that it's not always easy to find our class every day. Sometimes it pops up, sometimes it doesn't pop up. So this way, if you're on a WhatsApp group, you'll get a link and you just click the link and that's it. All right? Good. We are about, here it is.
All right.
Oh, good. Now we're gonna. We are about. Okay, good. Let's see. Hold on a second. How are we gonna get that link? Oh, here, share. We're gonna share the link on the WhatsApp group, and anybody that's on the WhatsApp group will have that link, and then we'll start Bezrat Hashem right away. And anybody that does not yet on the WhatsApp group, okay, the link is now on the WhatsApp group. Anybody that's on the WhatsApp group has it already, and anybody that does not yet have the link to the WhatsApp group, could you put the link to the WhatsApp group in there? You have a way to put the link to the WhatsApp group in there? You have it from last one.
Now until after we're done with the stream, because it's live now, but I can put it into the chat.
Yeah, so put it into the chat. Put it in the chat, and that's that. Okay, so again, if you want to keep in touch with this class, one of the ways of doing that is to join the WhatsApp group. And if you join the WhatsApp group, we're going to put a link.
Oh, wait, no, that's the link to the stream.
No, I just sent the, should I send the link to the WhatsApp group?
Oh, yeah.
Copy link.
Me. Actually, no, you sent it to me yesterday.
I can, if I can figure out how to do it.
You sent it to me yesterday.
Okay, good.
And we're just going to have to make the computer
Okay, good. We'll be back in a second. We will,
There's two of you somehow.
There's two of me. How's there two of me? There's only really one of me. Oh, there you go. You have it right there. You have it there. Okay, my fidget toy is actually in my coat. You want to get my fidget toy? There you go. Baruch Hashem. Or your fidget toy. Yeah. Yeah, good. Anyways, okay, so we will begin now that we did all the background stuff. What do you mean? Where are we? Oh, here we go. Okay. So now we are here with my fidget toy. Okay, let's get started because, I did give out sheets before. You don't have them? Maybe I have to print them out again.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, good.
Oh, wow.
Anyways, let's get straight to the Gemara. We're wasting too much time on these other stuff, and Ruben is already getting nervous. He's twiddling his thumbs, and he's like, what's going on, Rabbi? We're supposed to be learning some Talmud. We're not supposed to be hacking at Chinik about everything else. Okay? There you go. Okay. Yesterday, we had a bit of a back and forth discussion about the 7 things that God separated one from the next. Okay? There are 7 things mentioned in the Torah that God separated one from the next. And that's what we discussed yesterday, right? And then we had a problem because it sounded like we had one too little, and then we showed that no, in fact, we had more. Today's Gemara is a little bit on a different topic, which is essentially what should we be closing the Havdalah blessing? Okay, so those of you who are Jewish, those of you who have done the Havdalah blessing, know we always end Baruch Atah Hashem Hamavdil Ben Kodesh Lechoel, right? That's what we say. However, if you look in the Talmud, there were other opinions that had other ways of ending that blessing. All right? And that's what we're going to discuss. And then after we discuss this, we're actually going to go to the biblical quotes and show you how the Bible itself mentions these things that God separated one from the next. Okay? Good. What did God separate? Anybody remember?
separated the upper waters and the lower waters.
The upper waters and the lower waters. Light and darkness, it says God separated. Yes. What else?
It's a bit Adam covered up.
The nation of Israel.
The pure from the unpure.
The nation of Israel.
The unpure from the
From
pure.
no, we said the impure from the pure. He didn't. Did he?
No, the Levi from Israel and the
So which one?
Kohanim
Which
from
one did we
Levi.
say he didn't? We said one of them he didn't do it.
The sea and the
Oh,
dry
between the
land.
sea and the dry land. It doesn't say that God separated between the sea and the dry land. Correct. What's that?
He made the seeds gather into one place.
He made what?
The seeds gather into one place.
Obviously, God.
Technically separated.
Yes, but it doesn't. Again,
But it doesn't
there's
say-
a lot of things that
but it
God
doesn't say
practically.
separated in the process.
Correct.
So that's what we're talking
Exactly.
about.
It's the same thing.
Correct.
It's not
So
the same thing.
It is.
No, we're talking specifically about what
Again.
Kumar-
Same technicality.
No, the words. That,
No,
so
but that's
I.
the amount of seeds separated.
I'm winding you up.
Winding you up. You're doing that for. You're doing it on purpose.
No.
No, you're not doing it on purpose. But let me just explain.
I'm-
Daniel Benderman.
Yeah.
Ben Dulman, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Oh, well, what is it?
Ben Dulman.
Ben Dulman. Okay. So Daniel Bendelman needs to understand something very important. There are a lot of things that God separated.
Yeah.
Okay. However, only some of them are actually clearly mentioned as being separated in the Torah.
Yeah.
Okay. So God separated you from me. Okay, because you're not me and I'm not you. Right? God separated.
Well, that's not entirely true.
God separated my house from this building.
That's not entirely true.
What do you mean that's not entirely true? Why not?
We're not
Well,
one big
because
happy
I
family.
started learning, that Sefer yesterday.
Yeah.
It says
Yeah.
that every Jewish soul comes from the soul of Adam HaRishon.
Right, and then God separated
Which is
them.
one soul.
Yeah.
We all stem from that one soul, which is why.
We all stem from that soul, but what does that mean, stem from that soul? At some point, God separated them.
physically we're separate.
We're separated.
Physically separated, but we're all
Anyways.
connected.
Good, let's continue. Weitergegangen.
I have separation
All right.
of consciousness.
Weitergegangen. So let's continue here. So there is one opinion here. First opinion, we're up to V'choisim. No, actually, we actually passed that already. No, we're up to. Where are we up to? Oh,
What's the first word in the line?
no. So actually, we're up to the line that starts Ninhu. Ninhu. That's what we're up to right now. Ninhu. The line starts Ninhu, but we're up to the next one. Ben Levi Yisrael. Ben. Huh? What are you looking at
I'm
over
trying
there?
to find which who
Ben.
on the WhatsApp group document.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, I got you.
Which number?
Here, Ben Akaim Levi. Again, you have
Number
Ninhu at the
32.
end of the last line, right? Ninhu.
Number 32?
Where did I just point to you?
It's 32.
Huh?
Ben had
Yeah, he's-
Ben had.
No, actually, it's not. It's actually 31. We're up to 30 line. 31. We're up to line 31 in the sheets. If you're not sure what the sheets are, well, if you join our WhatsApp group, which is available by clicking the link in the chat as well as the description, you join the WhatsApp group, you can get the sheet and you can follow along with us. Okay? And if you don't get the sheet, you can't follow along with us.
And don't forget to smash the like button.
Chaim says you should smash the like button, but I'm not going to tell you to smash it because you're not supposed to break things. Don't break the smash button. Don't break the like button. Just
Don't break it.
tap it gently. Gently.
Gently but enthusiastically.
Enthusiastic. Like that. Good. Okay.
Deep Kabbalistic lessons. in
Deep
there.
Kabbalistic lessons. Okay. So now we are going to mention the quotes for every single place where it mentions God separating one thing to the next. Okay? Bein Leviim liYisraelim, you have the separation between Levites and Israelites in Deuteronomy 10:8, Yeah, we got to quote people just in case. Deuteronomy 10:8, it says, "Bo'esahi, hivdi l'Abaya shevet Levi." It says, in that time, God separated or differentiated the tribe of the Levites. Bein hakoyim leLeviim, where do we see that God separated between the Levites and the Kohanim? Over there, it says in Divrei Hayomim, and I think it's called Chronicles, no? I think it's called Chronicles. Chronicles, Chronicles 1, chapter 23, verse 13. It says over there, B'nai Amron, Aaron, and Moshe, the children of Amron was Aaron and Moshe. Vayavdil Aaron lahaktishoy, and God separated Aaron to make him holy, which means he separated him even from Moshe. Moshe was a Levite. Moses was a Levite, okay? Not many people in the world can say that they're from the same tribe as Moses, right? I thank God can say that. I'm from the same tribe as Moses. However, you too, you're part of the Levites, yeah? Somebody once asked me, are you Jewish? I said, no, I'm Levite. Like, what?
I don't know. I'm just a Cholent.
You're just a Jew.
I'm a Cholent Jew.
What does a Jew come from? Judah.
Judea.
Well, the fact is, there was a country called Judea. The last standing country of Israel was actually called Judea, because it was the nation of Israel was split into two governments. There was the government of Israel, the state of Israel, and the state of Judah, right, or the state of Judea, right, and they split. They split shortly after the time of King Solomon, and at one point, the nation of Israel or the state of Israel was completely destroyed, and they were exiled. That's what's called the 10 lost tribes, because they were the 10 tribes that were exiled. And their two tribes was Judah and Benjamin, but Judah was the stronger one, and therefore the country, the state, was actually called Judah, and that's why we're called Jews today. And then, of course, there were sprinkled amongst the Judeans were a couple of Levites like myself. All right? Good. Very good. Let's continue. Where are we? Oh, so we just quoted the two. Sources for separating Israelites from Levites and Levites from the Kohanim.
So therefore,
Yeah.
we have 7 now. Again, so
Huh?
that was the point of that, right? The point of that was so we would have 7
what?
7 separations.
Correct. Yesterday
Right.
we
And that's the
mentioned.
source of it.
All right.
Because you would have thought the way they mentioned it yesterday that there was one separation, but this is showing me that's 2 separations. So
Correct. Yesterday we were trying to say that there was two separate.
Right.
There were two separate separations, one between the Levites and the Israelites, and one between the Kohanim and the Levites.
Yes, but we needed to Pesachim to.
So correct, because we had to show that God separated. How do you know God separated it twice?
Right.
We need to have verses to prove that God in fact separated 2 separate times. All right, good. So now the Gemara asks a question. Mechtam mai chotim. What is the closing of the Havdalah blessing? How do you close out the Havdalah blessing? Okay. So now we're going to have a massive dispute. Yeah? Massive dispute.
So like 5 lines.
Rav says, we say Mekadesh Yisrael, we say he who blesses Israel. That's how we end the Havdalah, is he who blesses Israel. Ushmuel Amar, and Shmuel says, Hamavdil ben Kodesh l'chol, he who differentiates between holy and mundane. And now we have Layit Ola Abaye. Abaye would, if you want to say curse out, but derogatorily, is that even a word?
Yeah, derogatorily.
There is actually a word that I didn't just made it up.
100%.
Derogatorily would kind of look down at people. The item Rav Yosef is, some people say it wasn't Abaye, but was Rav Yosef, Aha the Rav. Yeah, meaning anybody that listened to Rav that said Mekadesh Yisrael, he would say you did it wrong. You should not be doing Mekadesh Yisrael. You should be doing Hamavdil ben Kodesh l'chol. And perhaps because his derogatory demeanor, that's why till today we don't want to get yelled at Abaye. So what do we do today? We do have Mabdil Ben Kodesh L'Chol. That is the closing of the Havdalah prayer Saturday night, is saying, we say he who differentiates between holy and mundane, Hamabdil Ben Kodesh L'Chol. All right? Good. Where are we? Now we're going to continue this a little bit as follows. Tona Mishmei de Rabbi Yeshua ben Hananel. There was a brisa taught in the name of Rabbi Yeshua ben Hananya. Kol ha'choyse mekadosh Yisrael v'hamavdil ben kodesh l'chol ma'arichen le'yonav yomav u'shnoisav. Anybody that says both, they say he who makes Israel holy and he who differentiates between holy and mundane, they will have longer years, right? So you're making a longer blessing. Because you make a longer blessing, therefore that person will get longer years. It's awesome. Yeah? That's what the brisa says. Okay? So according to that brisa, it seems like we should be really saying what? What should we be saying? Huh?
Well, if you want that longer years,
We should be saying. So why don't we say both of them? Because we didn't finish the Gamara yet. That's why. Don't get so nervous. Till we finish the Gamara, we have to finish the Gemara. What does the Gemara conclude? It says, "V'leis hilchos kivosei," and the halacha does not follow him, which means that even though there is an opinion that says that that's what you should be doing, it's not what you should be doing, because the Gemara concludes that you should not be doing that. Now, what should you be doing? The Gemara doesn't really tell you what to do, whether you should do like Rav or whether you should do like Shmuel. However, the Gemara does tell you do not do both, right? Sometimes, today, in today's day and age, there's this feeling. There's this feeling in Western society. Yeah, I'll just do what everybody does. I'll agree with everybody, right? He says A, he says B. I'll do A, B.
Moral relativism.
Moral relativism. I don't even know what that means. I don't know what that means. But the fact is very often people are like, because they don't want to take one side of a dispute, so they'll say, you know what, they're both right. Right?
Everyone has their own truth.
Everyone has their own truth. By the way, I actually had an interesting argument once at my table where somebody was arguing for this relative truth, where every person has their own truth that's relative to them. They had this argument, and it sounds cool. Put it this way, it feels good because it basically allows everybody their space. It's so inclusive. Everybody could say whatever they want. So I asked this particular woman, I said, excuse me, if somebody came to you and told you that they believe that 1 + 2 = 3, right? Will you look them in the face and say, okay, well, that's true for you? And the woman's like, no, obviously not. Obviously not. Well, so then you just disproved your point.
Well,
Because if you're, what was I saying? If your personal truth is true, if every person's truth is true, and there's no standard truth, if you want to call it that, then by definition, there is nothing to work on. As a matter of fact, what actually brings humanity together is solid truth, right? The very fact that 1 + 1 = 2, and we can all agree with that, that allows us to work together in particular ways. The very fact that we know
it also makes our weapons work during war.
Exactly, it makes our weapons work during work. The point is that there is truth. Now, what they might mean is that not everything do we know the core truth, right? Now, if we don't know the core truth, we could suggest not that each and every individual's truth is actually true, but say that because we don't know it's true, then everybody can follow their understanding of truth, whether or not it's proven, because not everything in this world is proven, okay? And that's actually one of the important lessons we learn from the Talmud all over the place, that sometimes things are not proven, okay? Sometimes things are proven, sometimes it's not. There is 100% hardcore truth. It exists, right? However, we don't always know what that hardcore truth is. Okay, we as humanity, we don't always know. And by the way, you cannot live. I've had this discussion here before. I don't want to get overboard with this, but you cannot live by 100% truth. It's impossible. You wake up in the morning, you get into a car. Do you know you're not going to die? No. If you're going to think that maybe I'm going to die in my car, you're not going to be able to live. You don't know it as a fact. You take it again. You say, okay, chances are that I won't die, so I'll go in the car, right? And 1 in 23,000 people, whatever it is, end up being wrong and die. And if that's going to be you, you're like, okay, well, I'll live with it, because you cannot live in this world with 100% truth. At least humanity was not built in a way where we can make a decision. Every single decision is made on 100% truth. And therefore, you have 100%. There are certain things that are hardcore truth, and there's certain things that are not yet proven what's hardcore truth. And for this, every person has to make their own decisions, and everybody has to respect other people's decisions, right? As a matter of fact, one of the monumental things that prove this point was when there was a big difference in France, the French Revolution and the American Revolution. In the French Revolution, they tried to get rid of religion, really, right? They didn't say this, but they basically called it freedom of religion, but it was more like freedom from religion, right? They were looking for any excuse to destroy and dismantle any form of religion. In America, when they started the United States, it was the exact opposite. They said the freedom of religion was real freedom of religion. We all, and that's why they said we're a nation under God. We all believe in God. However, how are you going to know what God wants and what God doesn't want? Now, I'm not going to get into this, but you could make strong arguments about biblical truths, and maybe even prove it logically. But even within the biblical truths, even within the Talmud, we see very often that there's a flexibility. Not everything is clearly defined. And there will always be certain instances where you as an individual need to define it for yourself, right? And therefore, if you define it differently than others, you have to be able to accept and appreciate another person's decision. But that's not because that's not because we believe that they're all true. That's what we can't determine what's truth. Since I can't determine what's truth, I can't demand that you follow something that I see as truth, that I think is truth, but I don't know is truth, right? And that is really where humanity gets together. And as I said, if you believe in complete relative truth, humanity is doomed for disaster.
What truth? Objective or subjective?
What's that?
Subjective truth. What do you say? Subjective truth?
Huh?
We're talking about
I'm not again, I'm saying that if you believe that that all truth is just a person, like every person has their own truth,
yes.
Humanity is doomed for disaster.
Correct.
Because you need to discover what is absolute truth in order to bring people together. Because once we can both agree that this is absolute truth, right, now we can build something on it.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So we just learned that, okay, the guy made the statement that if you say and sanctifies Israel, you get extra blessings, right? So, and then it says halacha does not follow him,
right?
So are they saying the halacha doesn't follow him as to if you say that you get extra blessing, or are they saying the halacha doesn't follow him and says you can't say that? That's
actually a brilliant question, right? And the truth is, you would simply say that halacha is not like it. Halacha is generally like what you do and what you don't do. You don't really have a halacha on a blessing. Okay, a blessing is not halachic. Right? A blessing is a blessing, So the very fact that if you say it, you get a blessing, he's trying to say that you should do this. And the halacha is not like that, which means you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't do it. You should not do it. That's it. That's what he holds. You should not do this particular thing. All right? Good. Yeah, understood? Weiter gegangen. Okay, now we just finished the entire quota. I do want to mention today that today is going to be an interesting day because starting from sundown, we don't learn Torah, at least. We don't study Torah from sundown. This is called Nittel Nacht.
I literally know it. It's
Nittel Nacht is
today.
What's today's date?
24th.
Yeah, what's the 24th at night?
So out of the Goyish culture. If I was in England, I'd be like, oh,
see, you're out of England, right?
I'm out of Goyish culture, yeah.
You can't celebrate.
I have
you
no
can't
conception.
celebrate Yeshmas in
Yes.
UK anymore.
No, I didn't celebrate it, but I used to watch,
So maybe that, maybe we
episode.
should still learn because we see that the Christianity is just falling apart due to the Islamic
I really had no idea.
the Islamic invasion. Why? So it's actually it's something that bothers me a lot as well, but it's a very interesting concept, and I don't even know if I want to share this online or not. But the nation of Israel, at least in Europe and in many places where the Christianity was big, on the 24th in the evening, the nation of Israel stops learning. Why? Because it's celebrating a particular Jew who unfortunately caused a lot of pain to the other Jews, right? And that particular Jew, by the way, it's not necessarily his birthday, as they like to say. I don't think anybody knows when his birthday really was. They just kind of made up a day and said it is. However, Kabbalistically, if a person is celebrated in this world, it actually shows some correlation to what's going on in the higher worlds. So the very fact that the Christians celebrate this particular Jew's life, it actually shows that in some way this day is connected to that Jew's spirituality.
So it's actually giving credence to.
So, but any good that's done in this world during the time that celebrates that person somewhat gives him power. And in order to limit his power, because he has, or his influence, the people who he was influenced, who he has influenced, has caused a lot of damage and pain to the nation of Israel. So we just say we're not going to learn. That's it. We're not going to study Torah, which would potentially give him more energy. Which sounds, again, it sounds weird. It sounds weird. And I'm sure that we might have some Christians there online that are going to like, what? You Jews are nuts. You really do that. But what's that?
How can we don't do that on all saints' days?
Because it's this particular one individual that caused a lot of the pain. The other, what are we going to just stop learning a whole year? And also, this particular individual was Jewish. He was one of us, at least that,
I know other prophets who are learning.
So again, it is a tradition by some. It's not a tradition by all, but this tradition definitely exists, right? And in Chabad, they were very strict. Even some of the Rebbeim were very angry at those who wanted to, catch a quick learning during this time. And therefore, starting from about 4:35, we're not going to learn. So we're going to have a program up to then, and that's that, right? You might say it the other way. It sounds like we're celebrating. No afternoon. We're not going to have study in the afternoon either.
Well, even
Anyways.
worse, we're allowing their holiday to impact our Torah study, which is even worse.
So, as I said, it is a very Kabbalistic and deep concept that was mentioned by great sages. I don't personally understand it completely, but apparently it has a significance, and that's that.
Okay, fair enough.
Now you know why the Muslims are completely defeating the Christians, because we don't do the same thing for them. If we did the same thing for them, maybe they too will go down. Right? We limit their powers. Anyways, let's continue. Right? Good. So we did finish the quota for this week. The reason I said that is I want to briefly go over the quota, and then we're going to go to self-study. And hopefully tomorrow, by the way, tomorrow night's Hanukkah. Yes, so starting from today, we're really not going to have afternoon program here. Because starting from today, in the afternoon, we're not supposed to learn, but we are supposed to play chess. This is, I don't know why, but you can play chess. Yeah, so you're going to play chess. And then Hanukkah, we're only going to have the program till 2:00. By the way, hopefully, if you're here, we'll still have the morning program online.
Why?
Which this is an 11:00 program, because at 4:00 you're supposed to light your menorah. Chabad lights it nice and early, right? So you light the menorah. Oh, you could learn after that, but we're going to be driving to some of the army bases in Israel, and we're going to be making celebrations there, right? Yes, we're going to go there and encourage the soldiers. I hope no one online is politically doesn't like Israeli army, because if you don't, we're going to be partying with them, right? We're going to be rocking up with donuts and latkes, and we're going to make a whole Hanukkah party for the soldiers here in Israel. If you do like the soldiers in Israel, well then, yeah. If you want to send them a donut, let me know. We can organize a donut in your name. Yeah, you can organize a donut in your name. Okay, good.
Wow.
All right, let's do a brief summary of the Talmud that we learned up until now. Okay? You ready? So we started with the quote that you should do a minimum of 2 Havdalahs and a minimum of 3 and a maximum of 5. We challenged that premise by various quotes from Tanaic quotes that seems to suggest that you could only do 1. We threw them all out. They all went out the window. So therefore, we did conclude, in fact, and actually, as a matter of fact, we concluded that it is a Tanaic dispute. There are certain Tanaic sages that said you could only do 1. There are other ones that says you should do a minimum of 3. And therefore, we go with the ones that say you do a minimum of 3, and that seemed to be closed. Then we went through and said that you should mention the separations that God separated in the Bible. There's specific things that it says God separated in the Bible, and that's what you should be doing. Yeah. And then we tried to challenge that as well with a brisa that seemed to suggest that there's certain separations that you could or perhaps should mention that are not in the Bible. And we said that there was a bit of a misprint and though it really wasn't there. Right? Never happened. Right? Wow. We have 2 people online. It's you and you. You and you and you too. Oh, and you. So we should have 3 people. We're doing very well. Can I know? Yeah. And then we also had we also figured out that Kohanim and Leviim were separate. Kohanim and Leviim were separated as well as Leviim to Yisraelim, Kohanim priests to the Levites and Levites to Israel. We brought the various proofs to that. We also had an argument as to what you should actually make the closing of the Havdalah. Should you do a Mavda B'Kedesh L'Chol or
Yak Nahas.
Yak Nahas? No, we didn't mention Yak Nahas. You just didn't. Either Mekadesh Yisrael or a Mavda B'Kedesh L'Chol. We mentioned somebody who thought he was going to give you blessings for doing it, and then the Gemara says, "I'm sorry, the Allah is not like that. That's not what you should be doing," and that's that. So that's the entire Gemara for this week in a nutshell. And now you can go learn. And just somebody asked an interesting question. I'm not even sure if he's still here, but if he is, we'll answer his question.
Yes.
He basically said that he has Ashkenazi Jewish DNA on both his mother and his father's side. How can I get into the community?
The community.
What's that?
DNA.
So first of all, DNA is not accepted as a halachic proof of your Jewish ancestry. As a matter of fact, DNA is not as accurate as many people think. And I don't say DNA. DNA itself could be very accurate. However, the DNA as to what your ancestry is not as accurate. What they really did is that when they started doing DNA, like what to try to tell your ancestry, they started out by testing, say, 10,000 people. And they basically asked these 10,000 people a list of questions, like where you're from, what do you know about yourself, where do you know you're from? And then they started comparing notes with everyone else statistically. So it's not a hardcore proof, really, even scientifically. If you ask a scientist that knows about DNA, it's not a proof that your ancestry was Jewish. It's proven that you have similar ancestry to those who claim to be Jewish, right? So it's not 100%, and it's definitely not accepted in the Jewish world. It's not an accepted concept in the Jewish world to that if you show, you're going to come to a rabbi, you're going to say, it says I have 99.9% Ashkenazi DNA. I'm sorry, do you have proof? Have your parents been involved in the Jewish nation? Not. Now, that being said, there is a possibility to convert, and conversion in Judaism is not simple because Judaism, unlike many other major religions that believe everybody should be like us, the Judaism in its core does not believe everybody's meant to be Jewish, and therefore you have to prove that you're meant to be Jewish, and it could be a difficult thing to prove that. And each place, they have rabbis that deal with it, and very often the protocols are different. I mean, there are general rules that are similar one place to the next. However, I definitely will not give detailed advice on how to do conversion. You have to find a rabbi in your area that does conversion.
Also, you mentioned
And-
Yoshika's name, so it's probably like
Whatever it is. Anyways, you have to find a rabbi in your area that does conversion. I will also say, I hope I don't offend anybody there, that you must go to what today is called Orthodox rabbis, because if you're not going to Orthodox rabbis, you're essentially not really part of the ancient Jewish nation. Because if it's not an Orthodox conversion, Orthodox is basically the ancient biblical way of doing it. They have changed some of the rules, and once you change some of the rules, it's not really the ancient Jewish nation. It is a new form of a nation that these people created. And by the way, anybody that believes strongly in the true, authentic biblical tradition will not accept anybody from other groups, right? There's Reform, Conservative, Reconstructionist. I don't even need to name all of them. There's a whole bunch of other Jewish groups that do not follow the authentic Jewish tradition. And therefore, you need somebody that follows the authentic Jewish tradition if you want to join the true ancient nation of Israel, right? And one of the ways is if it's too easy, it's probably not the real deal, right? It's a difficult process. It should take a minimum is a year. If it takes less than a year, forget about it. Some places it could take 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. It really depends on the rabbis. And by the way, it depends on the individual, because very often there's rabbis that some people they'll convert after a year, some people they'll convert after 10 years, right? Again, I'm not going to explain the details because it's just going to confuse you, because different rabbis have different protocols. Some rabbis are easier, some rabbis are not as easy. But you absolutely need to go to your local rabbi, because the rabbis in Israel are not going to convert you if you're living in America. If you're living in America, you have to find a proper Beth Din in America to work with you, and that's that. So that's the answer for if your DNA comes out as Jewish, what your options are. I hope that answers your question. Generally, I don't answer questions in this class unless I really think it's a question that I feel it should be answered. Otherwise, I don't answer it. So let's go on to learning some Gemara. As I said, if you look at the chat on the top, the first chat is a link to a WhatsApp group. And if you click the link to that WhatsApp group and join the WhatsApp group, you can be informed every day. When we start, we'll put up the link for the live feed, because it's not always easy to find. Sometimes YouTube puts it up for you, sometimes it doesn't, right? So if you want to join this class on a regular basis, you must join our WhatsApp group. So this way you'll get the link. And by the way, we also give once a week, we give out handouts that also goes on the same group, etc. So again, before you forget, or if you didn't subscribe. And if you did subscribe, make sure to join the WhatsApp group, which you can see either in the description or in the top of the chat. You'll see the first chat is actually a link to the WhatsApp group. By joining the WhatsApp group, you will be notified every time we start a class live. You'll get the link and you can click the link and join. As I said, YouTube sometimes mixes you up, and sometimes they'll put it in your feed, sometimes they won't put it in your feed. Even if you watch it today, not necessarily will they put it in your feed tomorrow. So that's just an advice of how you can make sure that you can find us, is by joining our WhatsApp group. And yes, and we're going to end with that and go to our class. We hope to see you tomorrow, Bezrat Hashem. And tomorrow we're going to be asking you guys to read. So I hope you're going to read it a few times. Yaakov David. We're going to get it tomorrow. We're going to get you to read it. Good. All right. Could you get me off this internet thing?
Very nice.
Good.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.